Let's talk about your car. And no, I don't mean its horsepower or its fuel efficiency. We're talking about its secrets. Specifically, the secret data it's constantly collecting on you and what happens to it.
Now, this isn't some far-off hypothetical problem. This is a real quote from a real person in a real class action lawsuit filed in March of 2024. What happened? Well, his car insurance rates suddenly shot through the roof. And when he dug into why, he traced it all back to a secret driving report, a report built from data that his own Cadillac was collecting and sharing, apparently without him ever knowing.
So it begs the question, right? Do you really know what your car knows about you? It sounds like a simple question, but the answer? Well, it's incredibly complex and pretty unsettling. I mean, sure, it probably knows where you go, how fast you drive when you slam on the brakes, but according to the Mozilla Foundation, it can get way deeper, inferring things like your race, your immigration status, and even your sexual activity.
Okay, so why is this even happening? To get it, you have to understand that the entire business model for the auto industry is going through this massive shift. A car isn't just a machine you buy once anymore.
You know, the best way to think about it is like your smartphone. You don't just buy the phone, right? You subscribe to apps, you use services, and you're creating this constant stream of data. That's exactly how automakers see your car now. It's become a platform for recurring revenue through subscriptions, services, and of course, your data.
And we're not talking about a little bit of data here. How much? Try 25 gigabytes every single hour. To put that into perspective for you, that's like streaming about 7 high-definition movies. So for every hour you're on the road, your car is just generating this enormous digital footprint.
So what's the motivation? I think you can guess. Money. A lot of money. The consulting firm McKinsey estimates that the market for all this car data could be worth, get this, $750 billion by 2030. This isn't some side hustle for car companies. For many of them, this is the future of their business.
So the $750 billion question is, where does all this data actually go? Because it's not just sitting on a server somewhere at Ford or GM. No, it's flowing through this really complex and mostly invisible supply chain.
And this is basically the journey your data takes. It starts with the automaker. They then turn around and sell it to data brokers, companies you've probably never even heard of, like LexisNexis or Verisk. And then those brokers sell it to insurance companies to decide your rates, to marketers who want to sell you stuff, and in some cases, even to law enforcement.
And I have to stress, this isn't just one or two bad apples. The Mozilla Foundation did this deep dive. They actually called cars the worst product category for privacy, which is saying something. They found that 84% of car brands they studied reserve the right to share your personal data. 76% can straight up sell it. And maybe the most shocking part, more than half can share it with the government without a court order.
And the automakers are pretty clever about how they get you to go along with this. They don't call it a surveillance program. They call it a feature, a game, something like OnStar Smart Driver or a driving score. It sounds like it's there to help you, right? To reward you for good driving. But in the background, it's logging every hard brake and sharp turn, building a detailed profile of you that can then be sold.
And here's the really crucial part. This often isn't a choice you even know you're making. As the security firm Kaspersky notes, sometimes the dealer just enables these features when you first buy the car, so you could literally drive off the lot, having no idea that your every move from that point on is being monitored and monetized.
But people are starting to catch on. And now there's this huge battle brewing between consumers, automakers, and regulators over who really gets to control this absolute fire hose of data. And the debate really boils down to this. On one side, you have the automakers. They argue that giving drivers or anyone else full access to this data is a massive security risk. They paint this picture of hackers taking remote control of cars. On the other side, you've got consumer and privacy groups saying, hang on, the data that I generate in my car, that belongs to me, the owner, and it needs to be protected.
The pressure is definitely building, and this timeline shows you just how fast things are escalating. Think about it. In 2023, the Mozilla report sounds the alarm. Just a year later, a major lawsuit is in the courts, and we're already seeing regulators stepping in with fines and settlements against huge players like Honda and GM.
And we're not talking about small slaps on the wrist here. For instance, the California Privacy Protection Agency fined Honda over $600,000.
And what's really interesting is that the penalty wasn't just for sharing data, it was for making the process to opt out confusing and intentionally difficult for consumers. It's a pretty clear signal that regulators are losing their patience. So all of this leaves you, the driver, stuck right in the middle, facing this really difficult choice between your privacy and the convenient features you probably paid a lot of money for.
So, can you opt out? The short answer is yes, but it's not always easy. You have to hunt through these buried menus in your car or its app. Sometimes you have to actually call the company directly. But here's the real catch, the trade-off. The automakers often bundle this data collection with popular features, so if you turn off data sharing, you might also lose access to your remote start, your emergency assistance, or the ability to unlock your car with your phone. They force you to choose.
And this brings us to the final critical question, a policy question that regulators are grappling with as we speak. Should automakers be allowed to force this trade-off, or should essential features be legally required to work, regardless of whether you agree to share your data for marketing and profiling? The answer to that is going to define the future of what it means to own a car.